everyone. Today's lesson is going to be on sleep and driving. My name is Erica.
My name is Kasima.
My name is Hannah. And my name is Megan.
These are the state standards that are correlated with sleep and driving, just for your knowledge. All right, so these are the objectives. So at the end of the lesson, students will be able to identify a major cause of motor accidents, explain fatigue and the effect on the mental and physical condition of drivers, illustrate the importance of sleep, name 4 methods to avoid driving while fatigued, and identify 5 groups at most risk for drowsy driving. All right, so we're gonna be watching a video on people falling asleep while driving. I know this video may be intense for some viewers, so if you don't want to watch, feel free to close your eyes or look away. So I hope that video wasn't too much for some of you. I know that a few of you are starting to drive to school on your own, and that extracurriculars, hanging out with friends or family, and homework can get in the way of getting an adequate amount of sleep. So we decided to show you this video to give you an idea of what can happen if you fall asleep while driving.
So what is drowsy driving? Drowsy driving is operating a motor vehicle while fatigued or sleepy. It can also be a very dangerous combination of driving while tired, and this is usually caused when the driver has not had enough sleep, has had sleep disorder, is on medications, drinking alcohol, or on a long shift at work. So why is sleep important for teens? Sleep helps to fuel the body and brain. Teens need more sleep because they are still growing. Teens who do not get enough sleep are more likely to struggle with school, have trouble with memory, concentration, and motivation, can be involved in car crashes and other accidents, can have slow reaction times, and also can make one feel depressed. So how does sleepiness affect driving? Falling asleep at the wheel is dangerous, but even just being sleepy can have adverse effects. Drowsiness can make drivers less attentive and cause slow reaction times in case of an emergency or accident. It can also affect a driver's ability to make fast decisions. So who is most likely to drive drowsy? Adults ages 18 to 29, 71% are more likely to drive drowsy than adults ages 30 to 64. Younger drivers account for almost 2/3 of drowsy driving car accidents, and men are more likely than women to fall asleep at the wheel. Commercial drivers who operate vehicles such as tow trucks and buses, and also people who work long shifts. Also, people with untreated sleep disorders such as sleep apnea, and people who are on medication that make them drowsy. A study shown by researchers shows that being awake for 18 hours produces impairment equivalent to a blood alcohol content of 0.05.
All right, so now we will talk about the impact of drowsy driving. On the left side of the slide is a picture of a destroyed car, and it's titled "Life After Surviving a Distracted Driver Crash." So that kind of puts it into perspective that it's really up to the driver how your drive is going to be. So for some annual statistics, these are the number of crashes caused by falling asleep at the wheel. There are 83,000 total crashes. 37,000 of those involve an injury, and 886 of them are fatal per year. Here are some tips on how to avoid getting drowsy while driving. First of all, you should get adequate sleep every night on a daily basis, and experts recommend 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night. You should also avoid drinking alcohol before driving because this will interfere with sleeping and mental impairment. And if you take medication, you shouldn't drive, and you should try to find an alternative way of transportation. And if you have to drive, try to avoid peak sleepiness periods, including midnight to 6 a.m. So now we're going to watch video about how people get sleepy in cars.
Thanks to Monday.com for sponsoring this episode. Monday.com is a team management tool that helps you manage deadlines, connect people, and boost collaboration. If you've ever been on a long road trip, you may have gotten an hour or so in only to notice that you're feeling like kind of relaxed, like tired even. That's not just a problem for getting to your destination on time. According to the UK's Royal Society for the Prevention of Accidents, driver fatigue may contribute to around 20% of road accidents. Of course, not catching all the right Z's the night before is one thing, but nodding off in cars seems to happen even if you're healthy and rested. In other words, a lot of us are prone to this effect, and we actually don't totally understand why. Now, one idea is that white noise makes us sleepy. In this case, the low drone of tires passing over the road. And there have been a few small studies to test this idea. For example, in a 2015 study, 19 participants were asked to drive on simulated roads, both quiet and loud. And when they drove on the loud road, they showed more signs of fatigue, like driving more slowly or accidentally crossing lanes. But there are a few snags. For one thing, the people didn't actually say they felt more tired, so it's really hard to tell whether noise was really the causal factor. Instead, it might be the vibration of the car rather than the noise that makes us drowsy. That's the conclusion of a 2018 study where 15 participants sat in a driving simulator that had been rigged up to a vibration table. Participants were asked to drive for an hour at high speed while the platform either vibrated at 4 to 7 times per second or was still. They rated how sleepy they felt before and after driving, and the researchers monitored their heart rate as a measure of drowsiness. After pretend driving for an hour, those who had been vibrating said that they felt really sleepy, whereas those who got the smooth ride didn't. And it didn't even take a full hour for those in the vibrating group to start showing signs of fatigue. After just 15 minutes of driving, those participants' heart rate patterns indicated they were drowsy. Now I'm thinking that we need somebody to shake my bed. What the researchers think was happening was that the vibration was activating drivers' parasympathetic nervous system, which generally speaking slows and relaxes the body. What's kind of strange was that the heart rate pattern researchers saw was actually a sign of sympathetic nervous system activation, which again, broadly speaking, does the opposite. It's responsible for the fight or flight response, for example. The researchers concluded that this sympathetic activation was a sign of the body trying to compensate for the drowsiness brought on by the vibration. In other words, the vibration is making a person sleepy, making it harder for them to drive. So the sympathetic system kicks in to help them concentrate, which shows up in the form of changes to their heart rate. Maybe cars of the future will have some kind of extra shock absorption to minimize all that jiggling, so that I won't be so sleepy. But until then, at least you know to look out for rough roads if you want to avoid carcolepsy. Also, if you're feeling sleepy at all, go pull off, get some Wendy's or something. Don't take the risk.
All right, so hopefully you guys found that video interesting. We're going to move on to discussion now. So we'll have you all split in groups and try to discuss these questions. I'm sure a lot of us have fallen victim to falling asleep while driving, even though we all say we're not going to do it. But go ahead and discuss. We'll take like 10 minutes to do this.
Okay, some important takeaways. Wrapping it up. So lack of sleep may cause drowsiness. Drowsy driving is operating a motor vehicle while fatigued or sleepy, which is a very dangerous combination when driving. A study shown by researchers showed that being awake for 18 hours produces a driving impairment that is equivalent to a blood alcohol content of 0.05. Now it's important to ask yourself, are you getting enough sleep? Sleep is crucial for teens' developing brains. It's recommended that you get 7 to 8 hours per night. Not getting enough sleep is linked to negative mood and behavioral disorders. Working long hours is linked to higher risk of drowsy driving, and young drivers actually account for 2/3 of all motor vehicle accidents. Did you get that? Right now, we're going to play a Kahoot. You are more than welcome to partner up with someone sitting next to you. And go ahead and put the code 6584753 into the play of Kahoot. So question number 1, being tired or sleepy has led to an estimated blank of all motor vehicle accidents. The answer is 20% of all motor vehicle accidents. Okay, question 2. Feelings of fatigue while driving will activate the body's blank to try to keep the person awake. It's the sympathetic nervous system. Teens that do not get enough sleep may struggle with the answer is all of the above. So sleep is crucial for school, motivation, and concentration. Or false. Drowsy driving can occur from a combination of substance use and/or lack of sleep. It's true. True or false? Research suggests that being awake for 18 hours shows impairment similar to the effects of a 0.05 blood alcohol content. The answer is true. Isn't that crazy? Young drivers account for blank of all motor vehicle accidents. Two-thirds. Sleep is important for teens because their brains are going through intense development. Which age group is more likely to drive drowsy? (18 to 29-year-olds). True or false? Reduced sleep has shown to make a teen feel happier in the day-to-day situations. That is false. And last question, to avoid drowsy drivers, research suggests one gets blank hours of sleep a night. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Okay, great. Thank you everyone so much for playing.
And lastly, we have an exercise for you guys to practice on your own. For 1 week, try putting more effort into getting enough sleep. So that means 7 to 8 hours each night. And as a tip, you can avoid blue light, eating and drinking before bed. And you will see that it will have effects on your driving probably, and maybe other areas in your life, such as concentration or your relationships. And yeah, you can go ahead and do that on your own.